I'm hiring you because I'm not hiring you because you're curious about a thing. I'm hiring you because you're really good at a thing. I think the curious line lands a bit soft. And I think it's okay to be, you're curious about it, but like, it's okay to be aggressive in terms of like, I'm really good at this thing. I'm an expert. Yeah. That's why you should hire me kind of thing.
Yeah. I want to say the same thing, but then there's also a similar situation.
And you're officially live.
We are officially live, exactly. I mean, this is just an experiment. All right, so we are talking about hero sections today.
My favorite. Well, it is the very first impression, and also the time is limited. So like the best practice is you have 5 seconds to get someone's attention before they bounce, or even less now. What's the average? You have 2 seconds to get someone's attention before they bounce away. So the most important thing.
Yeah. So I think we should spend this episode, the majority of it, to look at a few examples from around the web and around the design community that we've seen, okay. And see if we can improve a few of them, on the spot, and take away some practical examples that you can apply to you as a listener, to your own portfolio, to increase the odds of you getting a message from a recruiter, or you even getting invited to an interview. Just basically to help you get a job in design.
Excited to critique and make better.
Yes. Yeah. Very practical stuff. So I'm just going to grab one that I saw recently. You tell me what you think. I'm just going to quote here. Yeah. Hello, my name is, and this is all anonymized, so I'm just going to leave that blank. Hello, my name is, ... I deliver thoughtful designs, seamless solutions, and creative experiences built for impact. So when you read this or hear this, Tyler, as a recruiter or a design manager, what do you think?
I haven't learned anything. This sounds like, I mean, all that is probably true, though it's like part of the job. Like you should be doing all of that. But there's nothing that separates, like I've probably seen 7,000 variations of that same opening line.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, like if I'm a recruiter, I want like what makes you unique. And that just makes you seem like another person on top of the pile.
Yeah.
Like there's no person, like when I'm looking at a hero section, like it should be like, who are you? Why should someone care? Where's the proof? And then what should I do next? Like, and that would be the CTAs. That one didn't tell me much.
Yeah. You're looking at the website. This person does not have a call to action, a CTA below that paragraph. And you have to scroll and find the contact button somewhere on the page. To their defense, it's when you are fresh out of school, you just create a hero section based on what you know, which is, not so much yet. You don't have any experience. So I'm very aware of that senior advice that we all give. Like, you just should write about, the thing that makes you unique, the thing you're good at, but you probably don't know it yet as a junior.
So always mention the mentees that like, even if you're just out of school, like what is your dream job look like? And that'll give you an idea of like how you should position yourself. So basically work you get gives you more of that same work. So if you're targeting Apple, then create one that would get you a job at Apple. And then that makes that it sounds more unique that way. Yeah. If it's like out of school, like I'm just going back, like I envision, okay, I'm going to complete this program. I'm going to work at Facebook or at Apple, all the FANG companies. That was mine. Yeah. It also could be an industry. So like if you're, maybe it's close to heart, maybe it's personal, maybe like your family members, the health isn't doing so well. Like you're going into UX because you want to fix something in health tech. And that could be an angle there. And that's like probably a most honest angle. Like, and there's something there you can craft in the more kind of sympathetic angle to show like why you're doing this thing, why you want to jump into this specific vertical.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, just to make it a bit more practical also, is when I graduated from school, I was very active in music, not to make music, but making visuals and logos and for musicians and bands. And my very first website that I sold was for a local guitar player, and then the second one was for a band, because that band already saw my work for that first musician. So I was like, well, I want to be a UX designer now, maybe in music industry, if possible. And my second ever job was at a music tech startup. So that worked. So it can be just an interest you have or a hobby,
Yeah, it could be anything, because like what I read or what I heard there is like I'm a UX designer who can do anything, but there's nothing that you're narrowing in on. So it's like I'm a UX designer who's good at X or Y, or interested in like having the qualifier be just the skill set that you should have as a UX designer isn't that should just be bullet points in your resume versus what you're screaming in your hero.
Right. So when you read that same paragraph, I deliver thoughtful designs, seamless solutions, and creative experiences built for impact. You're not describing, exactly. You're not describing yourself. You are describing the job. Hello, I'm Tyler. I'm a police officer. I catch bad guys. Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't tell me how you do it, but it just tells me you are a police officer.
Yes. And I don't care what your name is. I already know. Yeah. It's like the funnel is like you are most likely in your website not getting organic traffic. So it's not like someone Googled, I need to hire a product designer or a UX designer. I see who's in the top 10 list of Google results. And then I go, oh, this person's name is Tyler. He's a UX designer. Like, the process is I submit my application, or I reach out to a company to kind of get some work. They know who my name is. They know what my name is, but just tell us what you do, what you're good at, what makes you different.
Company name.
No, and that's a good one, because you're communicating scarcity. So like you are being booked, but I have some free time later. Like you can't book me now, but if you have some work in the near future, please reach out.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like a trend at some time for everyone to have that on their websites, what's this little orange dot with then text next to it, like 2 slots available in July. And then at that point I was like, you're probably doing that just like you have these hotel websites with 17 people looking at the same room. I was like, not sure if it's true, but maybe I know too much about those tactics as a designer myself to overthink on them.
Yeah, if it's not unique, that came about for the productized service. Like I have only these available slots. You probably have more than 2 slots if we're being transparent. It's that you're hoping you get 5, but communicate you only have 2.
Yeah, of course.
It's better to be oversubscribed.
Yeah. I don't think, is that productized service, the unlimited design request thing, is that still a thing? Because I don't see anyone talk about it anymore.
I think so. I haven't heard about it in a while. I hear more like the typical, like traditional agency outreach, that thing, like that typical. Like haven't seen the productized service outside of like the champions who we all know.
Yeah, of course. It feels like we are moving back to the good old days of retainers. That's what I'm doing. I only ever sold one of those unlimited request things. And it's currently not active with that client anymore.
Was that your hero, or just like a service that you provided?
It was one of the things, when everyone was doing it, I wanted to do the same thing, just because it felt like easy money also, because those unlimited services, it also felt like it was a bit shady, because if you have them pay you $5,000 a month, and then every 2 days they can send you something, what you're hoping to do is that you can just knock something generic out in 30 minutes and then have 10 of those subscriptions at the same time, and then it's 5 hours of work and you get $50,000 a month. So I think it's very easy for people to abuse that kind of setup. And then that's just a disaster waiting to happen. I was very honest. I don't want to brag or anything, but I'm still working with that person that used to have a subscription with me. He just paused during the summer break.
Yeah.
And then when he returned, he was like, can I just also purchase or retain or some of your time in a different way? And that was fine with me too. I worked with them today still. But for me, I think that subscription stuff, it's ran its natural course. When people found out like it wasn't as magical as people claimed it was.
No, because there's the level of like the tactic or what's it called? The business model works well, but like you have to there's execution behind it. So like, yes, you can have 10 clients and then assume that not all of them need you at the same time, but there's a level of customer service that I think each client needs. And if it feels like a factory, it feels very commoditized. Like you've then turned yourself into a commodity versus like the value in which you kind of like showing your value as like the collaborator in that case.
Yeah.
Just like, I press start, I subscribe, some designs come out, and then you get, I feel like there's a disconnect between you and like the service you provide.
Yes. Especially with that big eye opener that you shared with me last episode, about like all the underwater stuff, like the things you don't see, what the designer still works on. I think you're giving all of that away. You're just like, give me a landing page, give me a pricing page, clean up this dashboard. It's very, it's almost meaningless. And that's not really the type of design I want to work on anyway. I just really want to build something for people, just to make something better. Yeah. Okay. Bit of a sidetrack there with with the unlimited stuff. So that paragraph on the hero section that I mentioned in the beginning, it's quite short and then quite generic. But then I also found one that's very long. And this is from someone I worked with briefly. I'm going to read the whole thing to you, annoying as it might.
Ears are open.
If you're a digital designer with a background in art, culture, and AI from university name, and a master's degree in digital design from university name, my expertise lays in UI and UX and developing a comprehensive research-driven approach to design. My primary focus is user research, which guides my process in crafting intuitive, engaging interfaces. I combine a sharp aesthetic sense with a strategic eye on user needs, aiming to make complex interactions feel seamless and accessible. Outside of digital design, I'm currently following courses in data science and AI. I also work in styling, bringing a cohesive, polished look to every project I take on. Period.
Well, yeah, that was a mouthful.
Yeah.
And also, like, you read your entire CV to me, but there was something in there that was unique, that was like buried in there, and it was something relevant. So like the AI piece, it's like, but they went to school for AI, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I think there's an opportunity there to craft, like, to position that a bit better.
Yes, I think so. So
there's like position yourself as was it like a bachelor's degree in AI potentially? Even better.
Yeah. I think this feels like an outline, like a foundation for an about me page. I think the hero section should be one short paragraph max, not this whole thing. So I don't think it's wrong what's there, but it's maybe misplaced in the hero section.
Yeah, it could maybe be like, it's definitely not going to be an H1. It can maybe be a subtitle. You mentioned it with a master, like something with a master's in AI, which is much better than the typical AI native design. It's like there's a qualifier there, which is the education piece.
Yes. It turns out that this research-driven approach to design, at the end of paragraph 2, that was the main thing. So we worked together on making that all look better. So we ended up with, I turn complex data from multiple sources into design people understand.
Yeah.
I think
Which
that's,
is,
compared to what we had for that first person, where it's just the job description, but nothing really personal. I think if you can say, like, I'm all about complex data, I'm making it understandable, like that's way more specific. I think many companies will be like, yeah, I mean, we have all this data, nobody gets it. They can find the connection between, I have this problem, complexity, and then here's this designer who can make, like, I see the connection there. And that's something I would like to see in the hero section.
Yeah, I think that one, in that case, I think it's warranted, because I've had personal, like, I like complex stuff as well, but it seems like everyone says that. But there's a way, like in this example, I think it works perfectly because they have that master's degree background where it's like, it's assumed, and there's a qualification there. Like, I like complexity because I've had my background or my education is in this, and there's complexity into that, and that drives my love for complexity, which is perfect for that hero section.
Yeah, it's a way in. I think, like, if you have that problem of complex data and you are on that page and you see, the first thing you see is someone claiming they can make your complex data understandable.
Yeah,
that 2 seconds time window that you have will probably extend to 20 or 30 seconds. So if you then in the next section follow it up with some, good data visualization examples, or maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs about, proof for that claim that you made in the beginning, I think then it could work. So it's just a first hurdle that you're surviving. People didn't leave within 2 seconds, okay, but now they might leave in 20 seconds. So what are you going to do next to make sure they stick even longer? Before we continue, if you're feeling stuck in your design career, or if you feel like you're doing solid work while no one really notices, we've got a bunch of extra stuff on our website.
We're building a community for product designers to actually learn, grow, and get hired, not just scroll and collect more inspiration.
There's also articles, checklists, and courses,
all based on real-world experience from both of us. No fluff, just what actually works.
Check out designtablepodcast.com. The link is in the description.
Yeah, that's important, because like that's like your hero is basically the layup for like the slam dunk that you have to nail with like the work that you're going to be showing. So like that sets up like complex. Now prove it to me. Like, to my other point, like, this is what I do. This is my differentiator. Now prove it to me in the work that I'm going to in your case studies or in your work section.
Yeah, I think so. And then around it, you need a bit of your visuals and that kind of stuff. But I mean, it should probably be simple and not overwhelming, right? Like your hero section, like, what would you put in there as support for the text, if anything?
For like the subtitle, I'd probably put read the H1 again. Sorry, or the newest one.
The newest one is I turn complex data from multiple sources into design people understand.
I would put like with a master's in not in AI or computer science, or AI computer science.
Master's degree in digital design and art, culture, and AI from a certain university.
Yeah, I would like lead with a master's in that. With a master's in the AI thing, I tackle my problems with my whatever superpower that is.
Right.
I think that's important. Like H1, and then the qualifier is went to school for AI, which is the unique thing, and then my superpower is I think it was the research part, which is a good ending to that subtitle, because it's like AI, which in my head requires a lot of research. There's a lot of research studies that you have to do. And then it lends itself to like making sure that the research is done to a certain threshold, which then translate into like well-crafted UX.
I mean, that makes sense. It's way shorter than the 4 paragraphs currently on the website.
Yes, because people don't want to read. They just want to just give me the cold notes.
Yeah. Let me show you one final example, including, I think I also have the better version that we came up with. And then just to be not a silly person with only commentary about different people, I would also tell you my H1 for my Dutch website at least.
Yep.
Okay, so here comes. I have it on my second screen. So this one starts with a question, which is kind of cool. But here we go. Okay. How can design tell powerful stories and drive meaningful change? So that's the first bit. Nice. As a former communications professional turned designer, I'm curious about intuitive digital experiences that begin with questions like this. My background in media and communications has bridged the gap between design and strategy, facilitating transparent communication. This foundation empowers me to thrive in dynamic environments, combining adaptability and creativity to create meaningful design. Let's make something remarkable together.
That's really good. The only notes I would have for that one is the curious line, because it positioned you as curious about X. It's something but like, I'm an expert in X.
Yeah.
Because I'm hiring you because I'm not hiring you because you're curious about a thing. I'm hiring you because you're really good at a thing. I think the curious line lands a bit soft. And I think it's okay to be, you're curious about it, like it's okay to be aggressive in terms of like, I'm really good at this thing. I'm an expert. Yeah. That's why you should hire me, kind of thing.
Yeah. I want to say the same thing, but then there's also a similar situation where this person says, this foundation empowers me to thrive in, that I think that's soft too. Instead of this empowers me to thrive in, it should be I thrive in. It's not something that it empowers me. No, it's something I do and have done before.
Yeah.
I think that's also way, way stronger.
Yeah. Like you want to sound like you're obsessed with it. And that obsession drives the quality of work that you deliver.
Yeah, exactly. And then I like that little nudge at the end. Let's make something remarkable together. I think that's really cool. But then, looking at the website, there's no call to action below it, which is then a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a contact button in the top right corner, but then it's of equal hierarchy compared to all the other buttons. It doesn't really stand out. So I would probably put a button below it. I also think it's a bit long, and then in the middle, it feels very AI-like, not in a good way.
An M dash.
No M dashes. I wouldn't allow it. I don't think I would. I don't think I would allow my mentees to use them. I don't care if it's AI generated or if that's something you write in already. Just when the mental model of your target audience is M dash, that's AI. Yeah. It doesn't matter where it came from. Like if that's a negative thing in the mind of your users, I wouldn't use it anymore. Because you want your users to see you in a positive way. Anyway, my background in media communications has bridged the gap between design and strategy. And here it comes, facilitating transparent communication. I think that appositive sentence structure, it doesn't tell me anything except 3 very long words. Facilitating transparent communication.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
As you should. Yeah. There's a bridge there that he's like, what was that last line? Which
last line
bridge?
Is
something about bridging.
Yeah. My background in media and communication has bridged the gap between design and strategy, facilitating transparent communication. This foundation empowers me to thrive in dynamic environments, combining adaptability and creativity to create meaningful design. The whole bit sounds AI.
Yeah, and so I would shorten it, and then also I wouldn't use bridge. That sounds soft as well. It's like allows me to bridge, or just allows me to execute, like something more aggressive. like something more actionable. Like bridging just sounds like I'm bringing things together. Something that this allows me to execute better on Y.
Yeah, true. And I say AI generated, and I mean it's more accepted now today. But what I actually meant is it sounds very corporate like. Big words, not saying anything really. Let's see if I can find the thing we ended up on. I had an extreme one.
Oh.
So the extreme one was just 2 lines, because this person is all about like the communication background and then turned into design. So marketing becomes design. The thing I suggested was I am, okay, so I know you don't like it, but I am name, a communications professional turned product designer. Through design, I help target audience tell a visual story customers fall in love with.
Love it. I love the fall in love with.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I think
no notes on that one. That was perfect.
Yeah. It's not super specific still, but it also makes you wonder what it means. And it's also something you want. I want my customers to fall in love with the thing I offer. So I think it really triggers people to.
As a founder, you that's what you carry. Like I want I'm passionate about this X vertical. And I'm building this product that I'm really passionate about. I want them, like, that language that I fall in love with is what they probably feel as well. 100%.
Nice. Yeah. So as you can see, there's a lot of, it's almost like you are an artist. It's creating a fantastic and strong and, hero section. I think it's really, it takes weeks to get it right, and it's probably never finished. So don't have it generated. Don't make it generic. Really take your time and look at it with fresh eyes the next day and spend time on it. So I think it's really important.
Maybe one last one. I would love your critique on my hero. Did this last week. Mine's not necessarily a portfolio. I'm not looking for a job, nor will I past this point. This is more of like my offerings or personal brand. So eyebrow title, currently working in B2B SaaS. H1, designers who understand business will win the next decade. Then I help product designers think beyond the mock-up. Prototype is the right thing, and explain why the work actually matters. Pretty work gets compliments, useful work gets renewed.
Can you say that first sentence of the H1 again?
Designers who understand business will win the next decade.
I think that's a very strong opener. Like I'm not seeing the design, but just thinking about the text, I would probably make that the most standout part of the hero section, because looking at the design community, I see so many people struggle, not finding a job or just being annoyed by the job they currently have. And when I read that sentence, I'm like, yes, I want to win the next decade too. If I have some sort of job security for the next 10 years, even with all the AI fuss that's going about, that's something that I want. Let's keep reading, So I think that's a very strong opener.
Perfect. And then it follows with, I help product designers think beyond the mock-up, prototype the right thing, and explain why the work actually matters.
I'm curious what help means. So you give a few examples, I think, if I understand correctly, of the situations people are in. I help them go beyond the mock-up, and at that moment I'm like, what does help mean? Are you a coach, or do you have products?
Yeah, it would in this case would be products or like live sessions,
workshops. Yeah. You have one coming up, right?
I had one just passed, actually.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. So I'm curious about the help part, what that means. But that's, like that second example, like you have such a strong starting point where the curiosity makes people stick a bit longer. Yeah. So if then people scroll, if your opener was weak, they would be like, yeah, this is fake. I don't get it. Buy. But now because of the strong opener, they're like, oh, I'm curious what that helping means. Let's scroll. And then I assume later on the page, you introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Tyler. I have over a decade of experience, and this is what I'm doing, and here's how I'm helping you. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I think help might be a bit weak there. I was just trying to qualify who I'm speaking to. So my target audience is product designers. Help is probably I probably would have to want to update that after the H1.
Yeah. But I think that H1, that first sentence is really cool. It's very bold statements. Just like that, tell a visual story customer falls in love with. As a business owner, I'm like, yes, that's what I want. And then the same thing, but from a designer's perspective, really happens in your first sentence there. Beginning that decade, that's what I want as a designer. So I think that's really cool. Mine is very boring on my Dutch website. I just have a line along the lines of, I'm a design partner, which is, the partner stuff is very generic, but I'm a design partner for non-technical SMEs, so small, medium enterprise.
Oh, nice.
So
I like the qualifier.
People, so some people I work with they are just non-technical. They don't know, they don't care. They are as confused as we are about all the developments. They just want to not bother with all this stuff. And then they get me as someone who's fairly technical, has been in design for a long time, and is like yourself, a business thinker. So I don't really have this really strong H1 line that makes people go like, oh, I want this. I'm more about helping the non-technical person on my Dutch website. That is.
Well, to speak to the audience that you're trying to recruit, though.
Yeah.
I like the non-technical paired with like small, medium business. It shows that that's what you're special. It's your niche, which is great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very down to earth. All right. Well, that's everything I had on my mind, examples and all. I wanted to thank you for your feedback, but you're not a client, so I'm not going to do it.
All right, that's another episode in the bag.
Yeah, great episode. By the way, if you're stuck second-guessing your work or trying to figure out your next move, drop a question in the comments or leave a review. We might actually feature you in one of our future episodes.
And if you got any value from this episode, hit subscribe wherever you're listening. It helps more than you think.
You can find everything else, resources, articles, and more at designtablepodcast.com.
Thanks for being here.
See you next time.